Welcome to this quick overview of Discovery's core plans. These options provide in-hospital cover only and are best suited for people who have no need for out-of-hospital benefits or a very limited need thereof. These options are divided into several categories, namely the Classic Delta, Essential, Essential Delta, and Coastal. The difference between these options are basically the hospitals that you can go to and also the base rates that they pay in hospital. So when choosing a medical scheme, it's always important to think of the cover that you require. The Classic option pays in hospital up to 200%, and the Essential option pays up to 100%. All right, so I would always recommend to rather take the Essential option with a good gap cover, and that will give you cover up to 500%. All right, let's have a look at what we have here. These brochures are clickable, so if you download the brochure, they are also available. You can very easily go through everything that you require. And here are the networks like we discussed, or like I've mentioned. Hospital networks, there are day surgery networks, doctor networks, and medicine networks. If you make use of the Delta range, then your medicine networks would be MedExpress, and they also provide benefits at some clicks and discounts. If you don't use the correct network, there might be a co-payment, or there will be a co-payment of 20%. So I'm just going to browse through it quickly. You can read the entire brochure at your own leisure. The first stop is here on page 10. And this is where they explain which one of these options makes use of which hospitals. So it's always a good thing to make sure that you know which hospitals you can use in your area. Remember that if it is for a PMB procedure, any co-payments will be waived and you will be able to go to any hospital. PMB procedures, in short, is prescribed minimum benefits. And this is the legal amount of cover that you are allowed to receive because you are a paying member of a medical scheme. This is a list of 270 conditions, and it also includes life-threatening emergencies where your life or the loss of limb, where you can lose a limb. So very important to know when you can make use of PMB benefits, because it is something that you have and it's a high quality of care because you are a member of a medical scheme. And then the last thing I want to show on this page is here where we say the amount that is covered. On the Classic plans, it's up to 200%. The Essential plans up to 100%. And sometimes this is very confusing for people. 100% doesn't mean they pay the whole bill. They pay 100% of the agreed tariff. So if an operation is 3,000 Rand for the surgeon, 100% would be up to 3,000 Rand. If your option pays up to 200%, if a doctor charges more, and they generally do, you've got cover up to 6,000 Rand for that procedure. So very important to take note of that. All options include emergency cover, and that includes your ambulance services, and they also provide screening and preventative benefits. This is a nice benefit that you can use. It includes things like flu injections, which is absolutely fantastic. Discovery also uses an app called Connected Care, and this is a way that you can engage with a doctor, and it's market-leading technology, so very interesting to have a look at it. I'm browsing through this very quickly. There are maternity benefits available on this option. The biggest thing that's not covered is the baby immunizations, but you do get 8 antenatal consultations, and it also includes certain blood tests and sonars and things like that. So you do have cover if you are planning a family. Just important, no baby immunizations are covered on these options. You do have cover for chronic medicine, but on these options, it's limited to the PMB chronic conditions. It's a list that they generally refer to as the 27 medical conditions that all medical schemes have to pay for chronic, and then you can get the full list here by the chronic disease list should you make use of any chronic and you need to see what it is that you can get. Discovery also has a very comprehensive cancer benefit. This is a reality in our lives today, and it's very important to know that you are covered for cancer in full. On these options, they will cover up to 200,000 Rand per cycle, or it's per 12-month cycle, and after that has been depleted, you will have an unlimited benefit with a 20% co-payment. So important to take note of that, and this is payable by a gap cover should you take one. So very important to always add gap covers. It is a very important benefit that you add to your medical scheme. All right, so on this note, how we pay, things like that, it's very important to know that it's not pay and claim benefit. So if you go to a hospital and you give your medical scheme card and they admit you, they can very easily just load everything and they claim directly from Discovery. So nothing to worry about there. And then in hospital, many things are covered. It's a shorter list to name the exclusions than what it is to name the stuff that is covered. Just know that if you are on a Delta option and you make use of the wrong hospital, you've got an 8,700 Rand co-payment. That is claimable from a gap cover as well, so very important to take a gap cover. And on for your day surgeries, there are also co-payments, so just be sure if you go in for day surgery, that's where you don't generally stay the night at the hospital. You go in, have a procedure and go out. There can also be a co-payment also claimable from a gap cover, so very nice to take gap covers with that. Specialists are charged at the agreed rate, and that agreed rate would either be the 100 or 200%. So on your classic plans, you've got 200% cover, essential and coastal plans 100%. In hospital, x-rays and MRI scans are covered. Very important on the core plans, there's no benefit for out-of-hospital MRI scans unless if it is part of a PMB procedure. What else? You do have cover for scopes, but very importantly, there are co-payments on all scopes. And that is also something that you can claim from your gap cover. There's no co-payment if it's part of a PMB or it's performed in a doctor's room. So always take note of that. Discovery is an unlimited fund, so there's no annual limit to the amount of cover that's allocated to you within hospital, but certain procedures or prostheses do have limits. So if you are someone that makes use of cochlear implants or you're planning to, internal nerve stimulators, major joints, this is like a hip or a knee replacement, shoulder joints, etc. Just always make sure that you know what the limits are and how those procedures work. With all of these internal prostheses that's implanted into your body, if you have a gap cover, it boosts your benefit that you get, and you can actually claim more than what Discovery pays. Very important on this plan, if you've got children especially, or if you still have your wisdom teeth, in-hospital dentistry is covered with a co-payment. So if you have wisdom teeth, it's very important to take note of this, that you will probably pay the co-payment of 7,000 Rand or 4,500 Rand. Again, this is claimable from your gap cover. I cannot stress enough how important gap cover is. Day surgery networks, you can get the full list of network hospitals. Again, just make sure that you're aware of the co-payments that are there. And that's it with this hospital plan. So big thing about this is that there aren't any major exclusions like joint replacements or knee replacements or things like that. Although you should always make sure that you understand the option you are on and that you follow the rules of the scheme. Always make sure that if you need to go to hospital, you've got a pre-authorization, or if you don't know what you have to do, make sure to talk to your healthcare advisor, your health advisor, and then they will assist you with what it is that you have to do. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.